36 from the Miami Weather Bureau. Hoist hurricane warnings, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hurricane moving towards the north-northwest. Highest winds estimated at 130 miles per hour over small area near center.
Hurricane, a story of death and destruction. A story of raging wind and water, high tides and smashing walls of water from the sea that thundered over beaches. Hurricane, water sweeping deeply inland. A story of swollen rivers and swollen streams. A story of flooded towns and cities. It is a story of people, of volunteer workers prepared to carry out the work assigned, willing to do whatever had to be done during this emergency. No job too big, and no one too big to do a job. No one too small, and everyone willing to lend a helping hand. And this is the story of our Red Cross. Hot food for young and old. Each Red Cross chapter serving its community, helping people. Emergency relief was a community effort. Many groups, many organizations working with the Red Cross in its organized relief work. And there was so much to be done.
There was so much to be done. Where do you start? I used to have a house. Now there's nothing.
That's more than just a boat high and dry. That's my living. I'm a fisherman. How do you fish without a boat?
After the wind, after the water, comes the quiet anguish of disaster and the quiet determination of men and women ready to pick up the pieces and begin building a new home, a new boat, a new life. These are hard men who have weathered many a storm, small ones, big ones, and they're practical men. They've learned from experience. They know just how much they can do, and they know when help is needed. And help takes many forms. Local governments face the tremendous task of cleaning up and restoring municipal services. County and state governments joined in to give assistance wherever they were needed. And units of the regular army rushed heavy equipment and the men to operate that equipment. The hot coffee these Red Cross volunteers provided to the men working, that helped too. Yes, help came in many forms. Red Cross provides two kinds of aid: emergency relief, evacuation, rescue, mass feeding, mass shelter, and rehabilitation assistance. To those who need it, the help necessary to give them back the normal life they had before.
After the storm, the thermometer started dropping. It really got cold. We lost everything in the big blow, just the clothes on our back, and that wasn't much. The signs tacked up all over town said if you needed help, to come to the Red Cross, and we did. It can make all the difference in the world. I mean the way you look at things, when you get some dry, warm clothes on your back. And that was just the beginning of what they'd done for me and my family.
Before you can start rebuilding, you have to clear away the wreckage. Knock down the shattered husk of a house. This is what a hurricane can do to a house. What it did to someone's home. Trained and experienced disaster workers of the National Red Cross were sent into stricken areas. Many of them were on the scene before the hurricane struck. Those families and individuals who needed help found the Red Cross ready to help.
The Red Cross, they put me back in business. I didn't have nowhere to turn to for money to fix my boat, and they gave me the money. Not a loan, but a gift. From the American people, they said.
Help with the purchase of new boats, with replacement of needed equipment, with repair of boats, even with the cost of moving beached boats back into the water. Through this type of rehabilitation, Red Cross supplied the independent commercial fishermen with a means of livelihood so they and their families could return to normal living. It takes only a few minutes to wreck a home, a life. But it takes a great deal longer to return a family to normal living, even with help. But this, too, Red Cross workers discovered very few disaster victims were just waiting around for a handout. They got right back up on their feet and started working, started living again. Sometimes there wasn't much they could do but wait and watch the men and machines at work. They waited, ready to do whatever it was they could do. And there was someone to make their waiting a little easier. When you're tired of waiting and searching, a hot cup of coffee at the right time and a friendly, neighborly word always helps. But it takes more than neighborly sympathy to rebuild a house. It takes men and material and money. Money to pay for lumber, money to pay for labor. And in too many cases, it is money that the stricken family just doesn't have. There, too, a man can turn to his Red Cross. The money used by Red Cross for disaster rehabilitation is contributed by the American people, by you. Money that is not to take the place of insurance, but to provide the basic needs that disaster-stricken families cannot meet themselves.
Yeah, that's me when I came back to the house. What was left of the house? I was looking for, I didn't know what. I was looking, just trying to pick up the pieces. I found my kid's shoe, just one shoe. And I thought to myself, what are you really looking for, Sal? What are you trying to find? You need friends. You need help. You're not going to make it alone. Help to get my house fixed, new furniture, and clothes for my wife and kid. That's what I really had to find. And I found it in the Red Cross. Good neighborly help.
I'm a Red Cross disaster worker. I talked with this family, found out about their needs, how much they could provide for themselves, and how much help they would need. I prepared a complete case story on this family, estimates of damage and cost of repairs, and presented it to a group of citizens from the town who sit as a local advisory committee to the Red Cross.
The local advisory committee, composed of people who represent a cross-section of the community life, hear the facts. Members of the committee serve as volunteers and assist in interpreting the Red Cross disaster relief work to the community. The Red Cross worker recommends that money be given to this family so that they can rebuild their home, refurnish it, and buy additional new clothing to fill their needs. And the advisory committee votes aye. There is one very important thing to remember, extremely important. When a family or individual receives Red Cross disaster relief assistance, it is an outright gift from the American people through their Red Cross. The assistance is never made in the form of a loan. It is a gift. Now the family goes shopping. They go to the local merchant of their own choice to select their choice of furniture. They discuss prices on the articles they need. When articles and prices are satisfactory to both the family and the Red Cross, an order will be issued to the merchant or merchants of the family's choice. In the matter of rebuilding their home, they will also select their own local contractor. Red Cross itself does not make contracts for building and repair jobs. The task of helping many families back to normal life requires weeks of hard work. From the big things such as rebuilding a home to the little things such as buying a pair of shoes. No two cases are quite the same. No definite rules can be made. The goal is always the same, to plan with families and help them back to normal living. Yes, this is the story of one family recovering from a disaster. The story of how we helped through our Red Cross. It would have been a happy day for you, too, when the furniture van arrived. Disaster can strike anywhere, any community, day or night. When it does, Red Cross will be on the scene, doing the things you would want to do if you were there. The rehabilitation of individual families is community-wide in its total effect. The money used to restore families to independence is spent with local merchants and so helps the entire community. Yes, you would be happy too, thankful for the assistance given by fellow Americans through our Red Cross. Our Red Cross, neighbors helping neighbors, the American way of life.